Hello fashion lovers, today it is alternate crop top. All right, now to make exactly this dress, the fabric has to be a stretchy fabric, therefore no zip, no that, no sewing allowance. Okay, so this is the calculation I'm working with: shoulder 16, bust 38, here waist 26, hip 40. Now if you're not figure 8, do not make this dress. This dress is basically for those that have flat tummy. If you don't have a flat tummy, it will not sit well. Okay, so this is it. You divide your calculation by 4. Now do not add any allowance, any dart allowance. There's no dart, there's no zip. There is the fabric is stretchy, so you can equally work without sewing allowance. Okay, so and another thing is, my shoulder to underbust is 13, my blouse length is 22. The total blouse length, you can see he didn't actually stop right at the waist. He extended down towards the trouser, so 22 is very much okay. All right, so once you divide, whatever it gives you. Now these two measurement I'm circling is very important. Your shoulder to under bust, very important. Blouse length, very important. Now your blouse length minus the 13, which is my shoulder to under bust. Whatever it gives you, it gives me 9 as what is left. Now this 9 will be my down part of this top. All right, that is why I circled it, so you get to understand when cutting the down part of it, 9 is what we'll be using. So let's start with the cutting. Now for me, I will equally say use a pattern paper and draft out the upper part of this top, okay, before placing it on the fabric. All right, now this is my pattern paper. Okay, so basically the upper part of this dress is from the under bust, and my under bust is 13. I can go for 14, I can go for 13 and a half, maybe joining, but so that is it. So basically the first thing I'll be marking is my under bust, which I'm going for 13 and a half. Remember I said you can go for 13, accurately 13, you can go for 13 and a half, and 14 at most. So I'm just adding half inches. All right, 13 and a half. What next? I need my bust point. Okay, that is it. I marked it 10, and I equally need my armhole depth. I'm using 7.5 for my armhole depth. Now you say, do I need it? There's no such. Yes, when you're drafting, it is better you draft with your basics. Okay, it makes it more understandable to create. So therefore I have to mark all these basic lines out and label them, mark my measurement, then we'll before drafting, getting my V. But first I'll have to mark my shoulder 8, connect it down. Okay, shoulder 8, connect it down. Then you get rule and connect. Get rule and connect. Okay, now once you connect it, you curve your armhole the way you curve armhole. All right, but before then, let's label them. This is my shoulder to under bust, this is my shoulder to BP, that is bust point, and this is my bust, armhole depth. Okay, so once you've gotten this, what next? We need to start marking. Now according to the calculation, my bust gives me 9.5. According to the calculation, remember it's 38. I did not add any sewing or data, like any allowances. All right, so I just divided, which gave me 9.5, so I'll have to mark 9.5. Now for the waist, which is equally for the under bust, I'll be using exactly the same. The waist gave us a 6.5 or thereabout. Yes, if you don't have a flat tummy, it is for flat tummies. Okay, so you connect, this is just like our basics. Then the next thing, you need to cover our armhole, to give it that basic look. But notwithstanding, let's just keep going that way. Now if you watch this top you're making, there is a space in between the underbust. Yours can be 3/4, yours can be half, yours can be, whatever you want, the distance, but it should not be too big. Okay, so but I'm going for 3/4. Then you come up, you can go for 3, you can go for 3.5. Me, I'm going for 3.5 up there. Okay, anyone you want. I marked the two of them. You get your rule and connect. Okay, halter neck, it is close to the neck, so it is either you go for 3 inches or you go for 3.5, whichever one is very much okay. And whichever one you think is okay for you, drop it on the comment section. Do you think 3 is better or 3.5 is better? I want to see it on the comment section. All right, now we have gotten our V. What we marked now, we are trying to achieve the V at the center of this dress. Okay, now after marking that, you from that neck width, you can either mark 3, you can mark 2.5, whichever one. Okay, or 3.5. Once you mark it, you connect it down to the waist. What I marked now is 3. Okay, that is 3 inches. Once you mark it, you use your rule. You see how I placed it? All right, you use your rule, connect it at this circle point. Now this halter neck, the back is completely free, like open. Nothing is on the back, just the down part of it. The upper part of this, there is nothing at the down, at the upper part, at the back, sorry. So this will only appear on the front, specifically to cover the bust. Okay, so once you connect it, you measure. Now if you watch this dress closely, there is tiny folding at the under bust, tiny folding at the under bust. Okay, so for us to achieve that, what you do slash and spread. All right, you can do slash and spread, or you can just extend it by the under bust when cutting. But whichever one, what it means that under needs to be excess, then you cut. Okay, then you cut the V part. Remember I told you, so guys, remember I told you any is okay. All right, so I just went for the 3 inches. If you think it should be 3.5, comment it on the comment section. Just tell me the one you prefer. So this is how it will come out on the front. Okay, this is how it is. Now what next? We need a slash open the down part of it. Okay, so you see what I marked, that upper part I did 3. Now this upper part of this dress, this one I'm cutting, including the belt that went round. When cutting it, it needs to be double your fabric. You have to use the fabric for the lining. The same fabric serves as the lining, so it has to be doubled, equally stretching fabric. Okay, so this is how we have to place it and cut, to give it that tiny fold at the under bust of this top. All right, so having gotten this, what next? We need to place it to cut the dress itself. So this is the main reason why I said you should use pattern paper. If you use pattern paper to use this is not the front of this dress. This is just a pattern that we drafted. The next thing is for us to cut the main pattern. You get me? So have that in mind. Now, having this as my main pattern, okay, you can see there is the belt that went around the neck is so long. All right, now for that belt to be this long, it's about 20 inches in length or 22, but the minimum you will be measuring is 20. That is what I'm marking now, meaning let me call it an extension anyway. You have to measure 20 inches long. This belt was not joined. There's no joining that you say when you cut you join. There's no joining. It was cut together with the top, with the from the belt to the underbust was cut together, so there is no joining. You see what I did? I measured 20 inches and I started placing my pattern. Have that in mind. 20, that is what I measured. Okay, 20 inches, and that is the minimum if you want to apply and achieve this wrap and drop on the neck. Now you come up here, you say, when you marked earlier, you marked 3. So guys, when you marked 3 down, this time around you can equally go with the down if you want it big. Okay, you can equally go with the 3. That is 3 inches I marked up there. Remember, this space you're seeing right now is 20 in length. Okay, it is 20 in length. Once you mark the 3 inches, you connect. But if the 3 inches is too big, you can go with 2 inches. You can even go with 1. It's a matter of choice. Now, if you think that the tip of this our belt should be 2 inches, comment on the comments, drop it on the comment section. If you think it should be 1 inches, I want to see it on the comment section. Whichever one you choose. But for me, I will go with 2. Okay, if you think we should continue with the 3, drop it on the comment section, guys. So that is our 2 that I just connected. Then this is the 3. Okay, so whichever one is okay, but for me, I love the 2. The 2 is giving me the vibes. I'm okay with the 2. Okay, so you connect. All right, now this is it. Remember, it is 20 inches, the distance. It is 20 inches, okay? The minimum you should go for is 20 inches if you want that drop. All right? So, once you're gotten to this extent, you're almost done. Remember, I said this upper part will be doubled. So, let me just use sellotape and hold it down while I explain more deep. Okay, the upper part of this dress will be double. The down part of it can be double too, depending on how light the fabric you're using to make it is. If you can get up to double, fine, you can equally work with 1. All right, so the upper part will be double while the down part will be double too, or not, whichever one on the down is very much okay. And remember, the back is open, so definitely when we get to the back part of this dress, you see how the back looks, so you get to understand. So for you to cut this down pattern, we have to slash and spread. Open it. The slashed, we have already slashed. What we need to do is open it up, because of the tiny fold, do I call it gathers, tiny gathers below the bust point. Because of that is why we are doing what we are doing now, slashing it open gradually, the little it can. Okay, then we'll cut. All right, because I didn't open it up very well, it is not relaxing, so I need to make it relax. So guys, once you have done that, let's use tape and hold it down. Now, because of this is why you should use a pattern paper. It makes it more easy. Then once you've done that, you cut. Okay, you have opened the slash part up, you cut it. Okay, turn it and cut. You see that you cut it through. So guys, I'm going for the 2 inches. Like I said, if you think 3 should be better, drop it on the comment section. I will just cut through the 2 inches. Okay, for me, I think it is better. All right, now I have gotten my pattern. I've gotten the main upper part of this dress. Okay, remember it's a V, so I have to cut this side a little bit, you know, cut out the excesses. Then once I've done this, the next thing guys is to work on the front. Okay, and definitely I have to take out the first pattern I used to draft it out first, so it will be more clearer. Now my upper part is ready. Let's work on the down. Now first thing you should know about the down is there is no dart. It is a stretchy fabric and the upper part is open. You see how it is. Basically what we just need to do is cut 9. All right, the length will be 9. All right, and the width, the height will be 9 and the width will be our waist. Okay, either we cut 6.5 times 4, or we just go straight for the 22 inches as our waist. Just have that in mind. Either you go for 26.5 times 4, or you go for 26, but for me 26 all the way better. Okay, so once you've done that, we just get our pattern and cut. Okay, so this is my down part. It is just straight, no slanting, nothing, just your waist measurement. The length is 9. If they'll be folding, you increase the length, and the width gives us 26 in total. That is about 13 in width. That is when folded. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm trying to indicate my center front. All right, that is my center front. I just indicated it, so I'll just get the front pattern and place it. Remember there is space on the front, so that is what you consider when placing yours. Put the space in between the 1 inches, 1.5 inches in between the two busts, sorry, that is on the style into consideration when placing it. That is the first thing. You must determine the space first. Once you determine the space, every other thing sets in. Okay, so but for me, I'll be going 1/2 inches in between. Remember I did half when cutting the upper part. I took 1/2 inches to get my V. Okay, so I'll be going 1/2 inches in between, so 1 inches in total is the space I'm giving it. All right, so I'll just use tape and hold it down. All right, now for you to make this, once you indicate the space the way you want it, you place your upper part attached to it before you start pleating or gathers. You know there's gathers, I said earlier, there's tiny gathers in below the bust point, under bust there's a tiny gathers below it. So just take your time, you know, indicate your center front and give it the space.
What's the doing? Your mates are there, enjoy themselves, and you're here thinking it has an easy time. Enjoy this.